I mean, okay, this is the craziest, coolest one of my. I guess it's weird saying I'm friends with Dr. Drew.
Oh,
because you're American. Yeah, but
I'd be bummed if you.
It's a point of respect. It's like it's Dr. Drew because you were America's friend. You were the guy that you would go see like if you cheated on your girlfriend and needed advice or like anything, or you just having some feelings. Like you're just. Even if you didn't want it, it's like I can't imagine. Like, can you just have dinner without anyone saying, "Hey, Dr. Phil, you got a minute?"
No, it was first of all, you're talking about me at night, sort of being there, answering, which I love doing. I mean, look, the one thing about making a good life is being able to do something for other people,
right?
And
you're alone in that one.
I indulged in that.
Yeah, you did. Like, but I'm being serious. Like,
people ask me shit all the time, but the funny thing is, can we cuss on this show?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the funny thing is, though, this is the part that's problematic. I always want to help, so I get upset.
I know.
Well, but hold on. But people come to me. I mean, you come to me with easy stuff.
Yeah. People
will come to me with things that are like, the thought bubble over my head is literally in my mind going, if I had a team of doctors and psychologists, it would take us 7 to 10 years to even impact on what this person's talking about. And that person wants an answer now.
Right.
Fix me now.
Yeah, like
that's
turn
very
switch.
Disturbing.
I remember the first time I went to you with a problem, I said, Doc, I got to stop cheating. I'm just tired of this shit. It's too much. I can't keep up with the lies. I'm going to turn myself in. And you were like, yeah, that'd be my diagnosis. All right, then anything else? No, I'm good.
Yeah, turn yourself in, man. Do it.
All right, then. Good for you, man. It's like, I feel good about this. And
he wanted me to say, no, please, Tyrus, don't do it. Don't do it.
No. Or just like, or maybe I was looking for you to say, it's not your fault, Tyrus. It's not your fault.
Well,
you're incredibly sexy and
you can't.
You're a victim. It's a curse.
Just some people.
If you need a wingman, I'm there.
Bear.
And instead, you just one of the best things that I love about you. Sometimes your answers is no answer, and you let them work it out.
Oh, sure.
But then there's the people that they want.
People want to get fixed, and you can't fix anybody. You can't. You can turn them in the right direction. You can't.
It's got to come from within.
There's all the work's got to be done inside, and it's slow. It's changing the brain and the mind. It's slow.
So who do you talk to?
Oh, I had a therapist. I had a therapist for 11 years, man. I was in therapy deep for a long time, and it really helped me be a better caretaker.
Well, I went to therapy, which to help me with the cheating problem, and it was just basically a mirror, where they just kind of put a mirror at you. Like,
it's a mirror.
You try to break down the behavior. Like
you're right. And there's different techniques, right? But for me, it was having somebody reflect back to me a digested version of things I was feeling, right?
Right.
So literally, I'm having a feeling I'm not really well connected to it. I can't quite identify it, and have another person deeply attuned to that and reflect it on their face and in their body. It's very powerful. You have to do that many thousands of times to build a cohesive regulatory emotional system.
And this is why I envy you so much, because I don't think I could do it very long with certain people where I'd just be like, you're full of shit, man.
Well,
like, grow up, bruh. Like, life's tough.
Hey, man, some people
wear
need
a life
that.
jacket. Go to work.
Some people need that.
Man up.
Some people need that. But that's more parenting type stuff.
Yeah, I say it to my 9-year-old all the time. Like,
and really, my job would be there just to be there, support them while they come up against all that stuff. And one thing I wanted to say is we grew up in the same town, essentially.
Well, what used to be. I mean, do we want to even go into the world of California anymore? Like, do we want to?
You don't want to be there. I want to get out.
I just went, and here's what kills me is I do stand up. I did some stand up shows there. They're all great and sold out.
Orange County.
Yeah. It's like everywhere around. But it was like I'm Escondido,
I'm San Diego. Got it.
Every time I get a call from LA, I'm like, like I'll go as far as San Jose.
And like parts of San Jose.
And anywhere in the Pan Belt. Hell, I'd even go to Bakersfield.
Oh, sure.
I just went. I was in Antelope Valley. I got put in my junior college's Hall of Fame for football.
Oh no.
So I was like, those parts of California are still pretty okay.
Oh, it's weird. California is like multiple different countries.
But where I try to show where I grew up, or to take my kids to Venice, where that's Venice Beach, Gold's Gym, where it was the Mecca. It's where everyone who got their start. It's where I got my start. Yeah. And just to get there is just driving. I just could not turn down Rose to go there because it was just I didn't want my kids seeing that. I just
You
didn't
were
want to walk through that.
Altadena, Arcadia?
Altadena, yep.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Burbank. I mean, we bounced all over the place. But my last destination, before I moved to Louisiana, I was in Miracle Mile. So I got that cool hookup where a buddy's grandmother had an apartment forever, so she had to fix rent.
Perfect.
And I hopped in there.
Perfect.
So yeah, it was nice.
It's a beautiful area.
It is nice when you're right next to the La Brea Tar Pits.
That's it.
It's very nice. Parking is a little rough.
Yep.
I got towed a few times.
Yeah.
Those street cleaning rules are a little.
What were you doing? What kind of work were you doing?
I was bodyguarding for Snoop.
Oh,
I just got fired from the WWE. I was bouncing clubs at night and was working for Snoop, and then I was doing a little bit of substitute teaching in there.
So I've known Snoop over the years, and I even got to meet Don Magic Juan, who I'm sure you.
The Bishop. Yeah, I even been to his apartment. Tabernacle.
And he had the green. He had those
Everything's green.
Green car, green wheels.
Yeah, everything's green. Everything's green. He's
green for the money. What was it?
Yellow for the honey. He hates me.
Why?
Because I was the bad guy. I was the dude who brought the bad news of you're not getting in. That was my thing. Snoop saw how much joy it brought to my heart to ruin someone's day with a smile and a clever joke about it. And Don was always pushing. He's a habitual line stepper. Like, if they say you can bring +1, he thinks his +1 can bring a +1 and bring his +1.
Right.
And understand that his level, and listen, not everything's like there's the NFL, there's semi-pro.
Yeah.
He was bringing semi-hoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's what he was. So he would bring
he had
these.
A staff.
You understand the Bishop Juan, it's the level of the end of it. He was a pimp. So there's a good chance if he was around him, some of his employees would try to come in, and I'd be like, no. Okay, I'll tell you what. If their combined smiles have 10 teeth, I'll get them in. And then he'd be like, hey, player, this for everybody. No, you keep this rich.
Right.
You go and get back in that green Cadillac and be about your business because you're not getting here today. And then he'll be like, well, see what the boss says about this. And I guess we will. And I would have been fake fired a million times by
Snoop.
Yeah, because he's non-confrontational. You know that. He's non-confrontational.
Nicest guy.
And then he would laugh his ass off in the car because if you're like, why? Because you wouldn't let him in? I was like, nah. He's like, all right, that's what you paid for.
I remember once tried to get him to stop smoking weed for a minute. And he did for a while. And he was like, oh, go back.
I think at this point, if he cold kick weed, it'd kill him.
He'd have a reaction, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think
why would he? It's like, it works for him. It's like,
there's no body fat.
Yeah.
So it's, like me. But like I said, the whole time I worked for him, I never smoked with him, never did anything like that because it was.
I know, it was his own thing.
Yeah, but guys would want to, but I was like, my focus was always on being the bodyguard.
Well, the other thing, by the way, about California and weed is it's gotten so powerful. It's approaching 100% THC inside of it.
It's not the same.
We're seeing a lot of psychiatric stuff. It is dangerous. It's very different than when we were young.
Because the strands are so. I don't think I was for. I'm for legalization of drugs in the sense that it takes it out of the crime element.
Yeah.
But I do think it needs to be regulated.
Or at least even let's just be honest about what's happening with the medical just educate people. That's all I'm concerned with. And by the way, I got to roll this back. You said there's semi-pro and then there's semi-ho.
Yes, I did. Yeah. I don't know where this stuff comes from, dog. I said, you want to pick this? Let me know what fires how this neurons fire in my head.
You go fast. I got to stay with you.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what Don. I had to sit in his apartment one day, man, and babysit him, bruh. And the problem was it was only a 2-story apartment. So even if I jumped out, I would have survived.
Where was it? What part of town?
Oh, it was downtown, and it was a retirement home. It was like a fixed living retirement.
Wow, he was an older man.
Oh yeah. And he was but it's like everyone else. And there's this candy apple green Cadillac,
sparkly
with a cup on the hood in front of the old folks, the retirement community. You got to buzz the little buzzer and hit things.
Did he have a relationship with? I mean, was he somebody that people knew in the unit?
I'm sure there was some. It wasn't his name. I'm telling. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like I am. This is a bodyguard's hunch.
Yeah.
That lease was probably under the name of somebody else.
Sure.
Probably an older lady of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And but inside the house was all green. It was just I mean, it was just.
Lives around the green.
He loved the green.
So funny.
But there's the other side of him too, man. Like he does have a wisdom. Like we make fun of but he does have in a weird way the way he looks at life. He can really break something down like that. Although. You got to get it quick because it will go somewhere else and we'll end up with somehow him getting some money from you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to keep the conversation where he is because that's what he is. You know?
Right.
He
He's a very likable guy.
Yeah, what was that? Well, he got famous from, what was it, Pimps Up, Hoes Down?
Oh,
That HBO.
I didn't know. I just met him from Snoop.
Oh, man. He told this story because he had that, he's got that, hey, baby, I got to tell you about this time. And it was one of my girls had gotten beat up and she had got stabbed and she was in the hospital bed and I went to see her and I was holding her hands and all she could tell me was, Daddy, I wish I was out on the street working for you right now. And he said, that's dedication. You can't teach that. And I'm thinking all the horrors of this woman's being stabbed, and that's not even a, hey, baby, rest. You know what I'm saying? Heal up. But he said that, and it was like, that was the game, you know, and he fantasized it. But the reality of it, when you see it, it's not as fancy as, the outfits is as far as it goes. Like, even in Pimps Up, Hoes Down, Doc, all of them had TVs with forceps on it to change the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the life wasn't as extravagant. They spent all their money on the clothes.
Yeah. But that reminds me of this business of not being concerned with the young ladies' injuries.
Yes.
Reminds me of the language police these days and their lack of concern for the...
Now, see how you brought it in, Doc.
That's right. That's right. Then the dead nurse, the woman who was killed by the illegal immigrant. And God forbid...
And he's an invader.
I don't give a what he is. This young woman's life was snuffed out. We shouldn't be. There should be no other concern except that.
But the biggest concern was that he was called illegal.
And so my thing is, I see you now. The language police always had me kind of back on my heels a little bit. Like, look, I want everybody to be happy. You want to be okay. Now it's like, it.
The super glue on their lips.
I'm done. I see what you are. You don't give a shit about a girl that died.
Welcome to the water. How's the air? How's it feel, Doc?
Woo, I don't like it.
Yeah, hey, but here's the good part. Listen, I always say the same thing. My truck's paid for. Come get me. Come get me. You know what I'm saying? I can move to Nebraska. I'm not tripping. So I'm not afraid. You can't. But I don't think there was anyone who was, in my opinion, if we go back during the pandemic, that was more attacked and destroyed and gone after than you were.
Oh, no, there's a group of us.
No, there was, but specifically you, because with all due respect to other medical field, you are, but especially then, we're kind of America's doctor in a way that like people would look to you for mental health. I think you put mental health on the map, although some people would look at the shows you did and be like, oh, celebrity, this or that. But a lot of people started thinking about therapy, seeing these individuals going to therapy.
Yes.
So I think you were on the forefront of that in terms of, so when you speak, you, above other people, met us at a ground level to where I had no interest in it. But if Dr. Drew's talking about it, I'll have interest. You made it cool. And with all due respect, you not what I would, if we had a character cartoonist here and I gave him idea of definition of cool, it wouldn't be Dr. Drew. It would be more like Pimp Don Juan. But as I bring it back, but
what? How dare you?
You're cool, but you're a different cool now.
I know, I understand.
Like Carol thought he was the cool one. Turns out you were. All this time. But I'm just, how hard was that for you?
That was hard. It was hard because it's hard when you're just trying to help and you get attacked.
Yeah. I mean, you were volunteering to go back to the hospital.
Oh, no problem. I was going to go back. I wanted to go into the ER. I wanted to work. I wanted to get the vaccine. I got COVID trying to get the vaccine. You were willing to guinea
pig it. You did.
No problem. Yeah, but it was more complicated than that. Yeah. So it was the real thing that I was focused on was the panic. I knew the panic could not make things better, would only make things worse. And I thought at the time, the reason I was pushing harder than I should have, it was hubristic the way I was pushing, and that's how I got into trouble. Look, I love apologizing. I want to model people like where I got it wrong. I want to say it, and I want to apologize.
That's science.
I've apologized.
That's being a doctor.
No, for instance, let me tell you an apology. Let me tell you a good apology. I was interviewing Naomi Wolf, and she was going on and on about menstrual irregularities from the vaccine. And
this is my field. Yes, please continue.
And I go, Naomi, menstrual. Come on now, women's menstrual. It's like
overrated.
Oh, it's not that big a deal, and everything makes them. I give them an aspirin. There's things, and it turned out that women were having tremendous distress. I dismissed it like a sexist asshole. There's
I've
shit
seen a
going
lot
on.
of that from you, to be honest. But I've seen it change. I'm proud of you.
Thank
Come
you,
a long
sir.
way, Doc.
Thank you. My wife will appreciate that. She said hi, by the way. She goes, Iris, hi. They have found liquid nanoparticles, the lipid nanoparticles in the ovaries, in the uterus. There's some biological changes there. And I got to Emily on a stream. I said, I am so sorry. That was so white male centric, sexist, pathetic that I just
Can I
was so
stop you right there?
dismissive.
Can I stop?
Yeah.
White male centric.
Well, not wild, but just male centric.
Yeah,
male
just.
Yeah, I'm so used to saying old white male about everything.
But you're not, because
that's what I am.
I wouldn't say myself old, but I'm still a man, and I say the same dumb shit, and our genetics are different.
Yes.
I think, and that's that one little virus right there, that little white virus, has grown and has made white America, especially men, afraid to even defend themselves for something so ridiculous as saying, I didn't own slaves, so I'm not, why do I have to pay for it? That's a fair question.
Not only that, my family's immigrant. My family they were running away from Stalin's Ukraine and a famine and pogroms.
Right.
And they had to come in, they had to find sponsors, they had to pay their way in, they had to prove what they were going to do for business when they got here. They had to come through Canada, ended up in Chicago.
Right.
And that's how you did
Didn't
it.
pick up any slaves on the way, huh?
No slaves on the way. But
you have to laugh at the ridiculousness. I was not a slave. And then if I did a little digging in my own family tree.
Yeah.
Turns out the wrong side had the slaves, and the Scottish side was an indentured servant. So technically, my Scottish relatives were slaves, and my black side owned some. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and was vicious with it.
This is the piece that people leave out of this history. And we need to come to terms with it. Native Americans, indigenous people had slaves.
Yeah.
Have you read is it Booker T. Washington's biography? He talks about he was in school with a bunch of Native Americans, and they were disdainful of why were Native Americans so disdainful of black people? Because they allowed themselves to get captured and become slaves.
Yeah, like it made up like, okay, let's take you to another place, drop you off. You don't know the climate, how the sun works, stars. You know what I'm saying? You're allergic to everything. Like, see how well you do. Let's drop you off in Africa, see how you do. I don't think you do as well either. Not a lot of deer over there. You have lions and shit. You ever run from an elephant at midnight? You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But it was a thing, though, but it seems like whenever a new group comes in, the resident group that's not doing the best hates them the most. You know, it's like
you're right. That's
when
true.
When the Irish came, it wasn't because
Italians,
they were as white as it could be.
Yeah.
The Swedes weren't happy to see them.
No, Germans,
Italians, no. And Germans, they had no room.
Listen, Benjamin Franklin has a famous complaint about the lack of racial purity in the United States, and he just went off.
Which is hilarious coming from him.
Total
racist
all
his kids
rant.
look like me.
Wait, total racist rant. And what was he talking about? Germans,
yeah.
No, non-Saxon Germans.
Yeah.
Not even the Germans, non-Saxon.
Just specifically the non-Saxons, because you get a non-Saxon in your house. There goes the neighborhood. But I'm just
why
saying,
do people do that? And here's the other thing. This drives me out of my fucking mind. Humans are healthier when there is racial mixing.
Yeah, I just found that out with my, I had to get a epidural shot. I messed up my wrestling and football. Eventually I had to pay the bill. And the doctor was like, wow, your spine is so tight, there's no room in there. He's like, so this is a really rare thing. Like with you, once we get it back in, it's going to pop back in, and you're going to be fine. It's
an advantage.
So we're not going to have to do that.
Right.
And he's like, you just have a very diverse DNA. But
genetic diversity is a healthier population. I understand that we have these tribal instincts from our frankly,
those are taught. Those are taught.
But they come, primates do that too.
Yeah, something's different than me.
They just do it. But
chimps,
why we allow that?
Yeah, you want to see the human behavior, watch chimps.
Exactly.
Watch chimps.
That's what I'm talking about. And they do that. But why we allow that to be a thing and keep us from a healthier admixture is just weird.
I'll use your language.
Right.
A placebo for not being successful or not. Things are the easiest thing to do is to look at somebody that's different than you. I can't be that. So that's the fucking problem.
And
not
what's the emotion behind that?
And it's protective.
Well, protective, but there's an emotion there you're putting your finger on. Envy.
And
envy. You look at every damn religious text. There was constant preaching about envy being the worst human emotion, the most dangerous human emotion. You know, it's a sin in some religions, and we like indulge in envy here.
Yeah, that's all we do.
It's not good. It's the sickest of the human emotions, and it's narcissistic.
I was about to say, I was going to use the word that you taught me when I came to you, and you're like, well, you could be a narcissist. And I was like, oh, Doc, okay, well, let's fix it and find out if I am or not. But the narcissism, I thought, was the biggest thing for...
I wouldn't call you narcissistic traits.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of narcissism in you to want to be on TV.
Exactly.
You have to. You have to accept it. But
and narcissistic traits can... I've seen people get pejorative with this language. To me, it's just human traits.
Right, yeah.
So, one of them's this, one of them that.
Well,
but they have liabilities.
Extreme.
They have right. They can go extreme. They have liabilities, and envy is the liability of narcissism, and that's what you got to watch out for.
But isn't that one of the side effects of capitalism, though? It's like you can't have one without the other.
Ooh.
But you also see it again if you go back to there's this great documentary, I think it's called Chimp World, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And watching how the males, conspire to be the leader.
Oh yeah.
And their best friend, they're working behind his back. Like you can see just the facial expressions when they see the guy walking by who's a little bit higher. Like, oh man, I hope he doesn't have an accident. And then look at everybody's like, you gonna do this with me? And then they're making deals left and right, and it's you see how much of that emotion, and it is, especially with men, and that's a word that we don't usually get connected with, is envy.
Oh yeah, and they have.
It's always been kind of a feminine word, but it's.
I think they do. They're a little more on the jealousy side, which is different. Jealousy, envy is you have what I want, I have to bring you down.
Right.
Jealousy is you have what I want, it makes me uncomfortable, I have to work hard to get it, or I have to maybe maneuver to get it, whatever. But I don't have to bring you down. Envy is I have to destroy you.
Yeah.
And crap, what was I going to just say? Oh, there's back to the capitalism and monkeys. There's a famous cappuccino.
Ape stock.
No, monkeys. Now monkeys.
Oh, you're
I'm actually going to monkeys now.
You're going to monkeys. Okay.
Famous capuchin monkey experiment, the little one, where they would teach this monkey to do something and they would feed it a cucumber. And they did it in side-by-side cages, two monkeys learning the same thing, both getting the same rewards. And all of a sudden, the experimenter comes in and gives the monkey on the right a grape instead of a cucumber. And so now the monkey on the left gets his reward, which is a cucumber. He throws it back at they just do this
because they want what the other one has.
I will literally take away my reward if somebody has something more.
Yep.
I will reject the reward that I was perfectly happy with 5 minutes ago because he got a grape.
And anyone who has kids see that every day. Well, I want what she has. Like, they'd be happy with what you got. Like, my kids count presents. And I'll be like, your brother got an extra pair of socks than you, and so Christmas is forever ruined. I'm like, give me the iWatch.
It goes all the way back deep in the primate heritage.
It does. And when you say that, people get so offended.
Why? We're animals. We're a special kind of animal. We're a special.
Yeah, no, we obviously diddled some aliens. I mean, let's be real. Like, let's look at the evidence, Doc. There's a lot of pyramids around and they're left.
You are going there.
I'll go there because we couldn't put a stick and a rock together for 70,000 years.
And then all of a sudden
we had iPhones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not enough time.
I do have questions about certain leaps forward.
I just think they were here, and I think it's all kind of, if you look at, it has evidence of the Bible and any towers are the same thing.
But I would tell you, I'm willing to accept that a bacterium or something or a virus came in on an asteroid, and that is the alien.
Well, there is some talk that it's that 11th chromosome that was a mutation.
Yeah.
Because they found it.
Yeah.
And they put it in monkeys, I believe the little marmoset, and the embryo developed. The brain was different. It had the lobe like we did, and of course they aborted it. Which I was like, you went that far, bro. Let's see if then it's like maybe they're already here because those little guys are clever and they can follow orders.
People have their notion of what an alien is. Maybe it's something that we can't really.
Well, we just found out the octopus isn't here, so he's not from here. So they're not from here. They came off an asteroid. But then again, most lifeways are finding in Antarctica studies that those little 8-footed things that are the size of a pin, they can live anywhere. So we all come from something. I think it's arrogant to say we're the only ones out there. I just think our behavior's so bad, nobody will mess with us. I think they were here, they tried, and human beings do 3 things. Human males do 3 things. We fight, we eat it, or we f*** it. 3 things. And I don't think the aliens were down with any of that because apparently they're a little gray and soft, and you invent a monkey that all of a sudden can think and still has a little bit of strength, and you're weak and soft and you taste like, I don't know, chicken. Like it's gonna be, and that's what happened. They took their shit, left their pyramids, and left. And every once in a while, they fly back and be like, they're still doing it.
You're making me laugh because men are funny.
Yeah, we are. Well,
I don't mean men, the species.
Yeah,
man.
but it's three things.
Males.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you finally figure it out, and everyone hates you by then.
Well, that it's those three. Well, I think when women figure out how men work, they're disappointed.
Yeah, it's a letdown. When we figure out, when we figure out, wait, I'm not complex. I'm just an idiot.
It's just these drive systems, and that is something that people miss. Is people don't think motivationally in terms of our drives enough. Because those drives are all, I got to see that.
Testosterone is a curse.
100%. But I saw it writ large with addictions, right? Broken motivations and how that affects all the other functions was fascinating.
Okay, completely throw this up. I'm going to throw something at you because I have always been very uncaring with drug addiction.
Okay.
I always looked at it kind of as just a weakness until I went through this injury with my T-band and my spine, to where I'm on a cane and I'm bent over, and the doctor prescribed Oxycontin to help me sleep. Now, the supply was, I think it was 25 pills that should have lasted a month.
Yeah.
Within 4 days of taking them, I was hooked. I had to dump them in the toilet.
Yeah.
And flush them and tell the doc, do not ever prescribe this to me again, because I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's like a week in, you could be a junkie. And I had never been in that situation. Now, only thing that I'm glad it happened to me now at this, where I could recognize it, be like, hey,
careful. Yeah.
This is turning into something where we didn't throw them in the trash because you would go get them out.
Correct.
And because I had seen other people do that. No, flush them. Once it hits the water, it's over. I actually got yelled at because, like, well, if you could have saved them for another time. Like, no, there's never another time.
No.
I was so concerned about it when I got the epidural, I said, no anesthesia. Yeah. Let's just do it, doc, and just give me the local or whatever.
So I'm not thoroughly convinced that's addiction. It's definitely dependency.
Yeah,
right?
But it leads to it. I could just see how easily it could easily lead to it.
Right.
And how easy doctors are willing to prescribe it.
Oh boy.
Oh, I left it at the office in New York. Can I get another one? He would have done it because it's Tyrus. It would. And when you start thinking like, oh man, I can just get more.
Well, not only that, you're putting your finger on a number of things. Back in the 90s, they would give you 120 every time you left the office. Yeah. And then you could call the next day and ask for more. And they'd go, oh, you didn't have to talk to the doctor because pain control is what the patient says it was. So whatever he needs, he gets. The other thing is celebrity and doctors. You have to be super careful. If a doctor is excited about taking care of you, like, oh, it's Tyrus, get another doctor.
Yeah.
You want somebody to just render the standard of care, and use
because you don't want to go from a doctor to a drug dealer.
You just want them to use their judgment the way they always do. Our judgment is highly refined and highly developed. And if something is changing it, like, oh, this is Tyrus, get away. Because that's why we don't take care of our family, we don't take care of ourselves. It affects our judgment.
Right.
So,
yeah, because that was one of the things I noticed is you just ask for something and you'll get it.
That may or may not be the celebrity thing. It's just you'll sense it. You know what I mean? You'll sense it.
I went through it and I was just, but because I could have asked for more and got it, and I just said, Doc, I don't care what the situation is. The answer is no. He said, absolutely. Were you feeling? I just felt that it was harder. I was keeping the bottle in my pocket.
Doctors are more used to that now. But this opiate thing reminds me of what we were talking about 20 minutes ago, which was the COVID catastrophe. And I will tell you what, the reason we had the opioid crisis, the prescription opioid crisis, is because of evangelical physicians. I don't mean religious evangelism. I mean evangelizing about the topic of opiates. And then we had evangelical physicians with COVID. It always ends in disaster when you have evangelical physicians.
Let me ask you this. Why are we so far past it and still not able to just come clean? And just looking at it from the prism of, so we could be better prepared for next time. Why is there still the cover up and attacking? It was just a doctor who got fired from Harvard for asking
Martin Koldorf.
Yeah, for pointing out what is pretty out. I had biology and zoology in college, and I always thought, looking at the virus, that some of our reactions didn't make sense. If you got it once and you got through it, why would you still need the vaccine?
Right.
Like just simple questions because you got chickenpox.
You were not allowed to ask.
And no, you weren't, and you did ask. And I remember it was great for me because I got the chance to be on the show all the time and practice doing interviews and stuff because it was like you were doing it on your own. You went from you flip through any channel or any radio, it'd be Dr. Drew, Dr. Drew, Dr. Drew. And then all of a sudden it was not Dr. Drew live from Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it was like, but most people, you weren't in a position like you needed to do this anymore.
No.
You could fold up. Worst case scenario, you could go put on a mask and sing opera somewhere to make ends meet. You just only know that. Yeah, he was an opera. Him and Mike Rowe both have an opera background. He didn't, little something you didn't know. Yeah,
I love that about him.
I was thinking about maybe
I always knew
an opera battle. It's like for one time.
I don't know what he sings, but we can figure out a duet.
Where's Gary?
Let's get a duet going.
Opera battle.
Not just a battle. We'll do a duet
together. You hearing this?
Yeah. End of the second act of Othello. Let's work on it.
Oh, yes. My favorite play. Little known fact, Tyrus is a huge Othello fan.
Well,
but one of the biggest tragedies of my college career was they wanted me to play the soldier, and I was like, I'm Othello. This is monstrous. I was even yelling at my drama teacher in Othello's, it's monstrous. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he's just too big. I was like, he was a more warrior. Iago knew that. That's why he went behind his back. He didn't walk up to him and kick his ass and kill him. Like, Iago is the greatest villain of all time.
Yeah.
Because he does the one thing that you don't want villains to do.
Yeah.
He never tells why. He's on they're all on the bed. And he's like, why? And he's like, all you gonna know, and dies. I'm like, gangster. We didn't need the story. We didn't need to know. We didn't need the moments where I'll tell you my plan.
No.
Nobody knows why.
And in the opera, it's so cool. He goes, they're singing back and forth, and he goes, I've seen that handkerchief before.
Oh, it's so great.
he goes,
so great.
No.
No
singing.
No, not today. No, he's not singing. Listen,
That's the one I want to sing with.
Bruh, you couldn't even get a rap out of me. It's you can't have it all. Okay, you can't have it all.
But he just goes, I saw that in the hand of Cassio, and then Othello breaks into this huge aria. It's awesome.
The Lawrence Fishburne version of Othello is my favorite, and the handkerchief. The best part is when his wife takes it from him. Like, I gave it to her, and he was like, "What are you doing? Like, we're doing this plot for 10 years, and you're gonna like?" And he was like, "Go home, talking tomorrow." She's like, "No," and I was like, "Oh man." I hate to say it, but Iago's like, he married wrong, maybe, but he just.
Well,
I mean,
she married wrong.
It was just crazy to me that it was his. He covered everything. All his bases,
except his own
his whole backyard, which explains why he was doing things underhandedly. But I love that movie, that play, because it's just so. I think it's so. Past is funny how it's so reflective of today.
I'm getting a little emotional because I treated Tom Sizemore over the years.
Oh,
and I love that guy. I loved him. And when he came off one of his meth runs, he had memory problems, and it freaked him out. It's what really motivated him to get sober. One of the times he got sober, and he goes, and he launched into the Iago monologue, like for about 7-8 minutes, and I was like, "You're okay."
If you remember Shakespeare, but
moving,
you can't find your car
moving.
keys.
Sizemore, dude.
What has he not done? That's not.
Yeah.
I mean, Wild Wild West, he was awesome. He was a spider. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
A spider with a lot of girlfriends.
I was at his funeral a couple months ago.
I
was so sad. He had an intracranial bleed.
It's
some things you don't want to recover from, by the way.
Oh, and that's one of them? Good to know.
A big one. A big intracranial bleed. A small one.
So where do you go? Like, what? Although recently, I thought I heard Fox News contributor, Dr. Drew.
Me?
Yeah.
No one has talked to me about that. But I
did the
business. I'm doing Fox Business.
Yes, that still counts.
I'm just doing
right.
Stuff.
That counts, right? That's under the umbrella. You're just doing stuff.
I'm just doing stuff.
Any regrets given the reactions?
No, not only no regrets, the deep gratitude, profound gratitude, because I thought it was going to be a little office all day practicing medicine, and I've ended up with this.
But your passion is still medicine, though.
It's still helping people. I got to help people in creative ways. I got to meet lots of great people. I mean, you're part of that. I got to travel. I mean, I just got this wonderful life because of all these crazy things I've been able to do. And it just started with a little radio program. It really started because I was wanting to educate young people about HIV and AIDS.
Because in California, that was the scariest thing. And again, I can't speak of other states. Just growing up in California, I think just because California's a little more liberal, and they were a little more open about discussing things. It was a constant conversation.
Yeah, but I started it. It wasn't.
you know,
it
you
wasn't
did. No, it
happening.
didn't.
Yeah, I was shocked. No one was talking to young people at all. They'd never heard about it. I was taking care of AIDS patients hand over fist, and it was terrible. Every day, as a fourth-year medical student, as an intern, I was telling a young man he had 6 months to live. It's just an everyday.
I think a lot of it was, well, again, the public perception during that time of what it was for a man to be gay was way different than it is today.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
so,
ridiculous.
and it was like, oh, well, I can't get it because I'm not gay. So that was the thing. It's a gay man's disease. I remember hearing that, and I was young. I was in high school. So I was always would hear that. So you didn't have to worry about anything because, and then there was well, unless your girl cheats on you with a guy who was gay.
Right.
You know, so you would hear it, and it had nothing to do with sharing needles.
Yep.
That seemed to be secondary.
Yep.
The main thing you just heard about, and again, that's all it was. And as a young man, that was always the mindset.
And to be fair, though, it was Anthony Fauci at the time, who I idolized.
Yeah, you and his relationship was...
He was just a gone high guy that I just loved. And he was saying, you got to tell them there's going to be 2 million dead people. We're going to have 2 million dead in this country. Scare them. If they have sex with somebody, they're having sex with everybody they ever had sex with.
Yeah, I remember that. You need to meet the last 4 people. You
just go, if you have sex with this person, it's everybody that everybody else ever had sex with.
And your girlfriend told you you're the only one. You know?
and I used fear. I used it, and it was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. It was the same playbook as COVID, exact same playbook.
So how are you able to do that, but they're not able to do that now? You're able to
say... So back to that question. So I think part of the problem is, I think these people that are rattling the sabers around Nuremberg 2.0 and all this stuff, if we start threatening to criminalize mistakes that people make, you are never going to get to the truth.
I think you should never criminalize mistakes when it comes to science because it's learning, but I think you can criminalize the cover-up. Because I think Americans can take bad news. It's the lying, the dragging it out that just makes it so much worse.
Crushing people who were trying to bring the truth out? That's the part that was disgusting.
Dr. Sapphire, her life was just ripped upside down.
I would like an apology. Just an apology would do it for me.
Or at least hey, sorry, Doc. Because
it was a mistake.
I think that's what I honestly think. That's all anybody wants.
I know.
I don't think anybody wants. We can't change what happened.
Yep.
Mistakes were made.
Yep.
But our hearts and minds was in protecting it, and it morphed and it changed. And if we knew what we knew now, we would do things different. I think there's a lot of people that could put that book to sleep, but the fact that it's still happening.
If we knew what we knew now, you would have known it a lot sooner if you listened to people like me.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
so there's that. But the other thing is this. Oh shit! I lost my train of thought about forgiveness. The world has changed because of it. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not going to be the same ever.
We lost a generation in education-wise.
Oh, boy.
I'm dealing with 2 lost teenagers. Well, one's in his 20s now with absolutely no direction. And it's just...
my kids in their 30s.
And you're just like... and you're the bad guy, but they spent their junior and senior year in their room on the internet. And
I hope they
fills their head with so much... When you say, hey, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
The shit that I hear back,
I
think I want to do voiceovers for TV. Okay, that's really hard to get into. What else you got? What's your background? Well, I like the way my voice sounds. Okay, you're the only person I know who likes the sound of their own voice. But I'm just saying, what are you going to do? Just going to, they have no plan. Well, I'm just going to have my own podcast. There's 17 billion of them. What's going to make yours different?
Right. And I'm sad about that. We've done them a disservice, and I hope when they do come out of it, which I believe they will, I hope they're pissed. They should be furious.
They should be
at what was done to them.
But they attacked him in education, and it became internet. They became the babysitter teaches propaganda, and that's the teacher. And the parents are in the next room taking pictures of their food and looking up their ex-high school sweetheart to see what they're up to, while their kids are watching. People telling them, "Don't tell your parents to talk to me." I always say the same thing. The dirty old pedophile is not in a van anymore, waiting outside with a net or a bag of candy. He's on the iPad, and he's posing as a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So they can work together, they can coordinate. So I used to go outside and play, and I'd say those things, but I realized that I don't think the numbers are different in terms of what we were growing up with. It's just their access was limited. A guy couldn't get online and change his name and his identity and get on the chat line with me and my friends and pretend to be a 22-year-old girl or something. Oh my God, you know, you're 15 and a 22-year-old model is telling you that you're cool. Like, oh yeah, you would. I would have. I would have catfished.
Helpless.
No, the hook had no worm on it. I'm hooked. And young men fall for that.
Yeah.
I'm actually. So let me throw this at you, Doc. Let me get your diagnosis on this one real quick. So I've been dealing with scammers. Okay, the success of my stand-up tour, and I've got a fake Tyrus account that keeps popping up on Facebook, selling tickets, and also apparently dating a lot of elderly women to send him money.
Wow.
And but because of
do you report it to Twitter?
No, it was on Facebook.
It was
Facebook? I don't have a Facebook account. Right? Ingrid runs the Tyrus Facebook fan page.
Okay, got it.
Right? And here's the thing: Facebook is threatening to cancel me, because they have more followers. Even though we have sent them everything to show he's not only stealing money from people, he's causing them to come at our thing like, you lied to me, you promised me a private engagement. We sent the information, and Facebook still. I'm to the point where I think I want to sue Facebook for defamation of character, and I think the people these ladies were sending me the fake me $300 and $400 with it, and apparently I was going to have spaghetti dinners and go on dates and all this shit, and sending money, and I'm so busy, that's why I can't get on camera. Like, it bothers me with the word catfish is accepted. It's a TV show where everyone laughs at somebody. That's destroying lives and families.
100%.
Men are losing their, they have to take some personal responsibility.
Sure.
But when you're going to the source, Facebook, you know this dude is dirty. Yeah. You know that Tyrus is not a little Indian dude from Canada, and all the PayPals are to India. Like, this is ridiculous. Now, my first reaction was to the people who were calling and saying that my mother just sent you $500 and stuff like that. Was like, I'm on TV every night. The check's clearing.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Like, how are you falling for this shit? But then I read some of his stuff. He does a good me. Like, he does. I'm looking at him trying to stop it.
That's very funny. But you need to get a human being at Facebook. You need to find somebody.
Oh, we have.
Get to somebody.
It's about the same thing. And it's just been, because here's the other caveat to it. We don't give a shit. You're Tyrus. You work for Fox News. We don't give a shit.
Oh boy.
That's what it is.
Whoa.
Because if I was a,
then you have to sue them.
I think that
you and I grew up, I bet, I hating courts.
I've never sued anybody in my life.
I don't even people that sue people.
No,
but I'm afraid the courts are the only solution to many of today's problems.
And I think with Facebook, I think more people should do that. Now, when you look at how you were publicly destroyed on Facebook and stuff, there was never a retract from Facebook or canceling the accounts of people who were going after you. They were actually rewarded. And here was the argument was, well, they have more followers than you. Yeah, he's buying followers with the money he's getting from the people that he's extorting, thinking they're getting access to me.
I still have haters. You probably have too. And I report them when they're targeting and they're trying to create harassment and stuff, and I report them to the various checks. Or one of the many hundreds of reports I've made, one time they took somebody down. It's
you know
weird
what it is? Because it's a money game for them, because they make more money with the account than they do. I don't boost numbers. I don't buy likes.
No, but the ones I report don't have a lot of followers. I just think
in a general thing, I think anyone with a social media account should have to use their ID. I think everyone should be verified.
Sure.
Sex trafficking is done. Pedophiles are done.
Yeah.
We don't know if this is the real person.
Yeah.
It should say that on there. They have a blue check. There should be a red check.
Yeah.
We don't know who this is. The person you're talking to has not verified. This could be or could not be. Why isn't there not at least a disclaimer?
Why don't we?
Because those are the people who spend all the money building the accounts, buying the photos. If you look at it,
I don't know about Facebook. Facebook seems incorrigible, but X seems to be.
No, X seems to be. He's down the middle.
Yeah.
He's not going to break anything for you or them. He's going to go, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I have no argument there. 50-50, call it like I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems that, and it still goes on. We got the shadow banning on Instagram. That's why I'm down to I don't even f with mine at all. He who runs my social media. So that's another thing too. Even if you try to holler at me, there's a wall there.
Yeah, you're not
going
there.
back to our original thing when I went to you about being accountable.
Yeah.
To stop behaving that many years ago.
Long time ago. All good now.
Yeah, all good now.
He's the king of Orpheus since then.
Yes, you were there for that.
I was there for that.
You have been there in a lot of points of my life.
Good. Really, I'm glad to have been there.
I went from hey man, that's Dr. on Gutfeld.
Kat did that, by the way.
Yeah, she's obsessed with you.
She's obsessed with Teen Mom.
Yeah.
And
she wants to be a teen mom, but she missed her window.
And she wanted me to get her onto the team, to come get her to a reunion, which I did, and we've been friends ever since.
What about like 30-something mom? Like, is there any scenario so we can get Kat Timpf on some sort of teen mom, but instead of the teen, it's the
midlife
mom. Like, so, where you get her and a bunch of women who haven't had children yet, and they're maybe planning it like it's a whole thing.
We got to think about this.
I think there's something there. I don't know. Like,
I'm having dinner with her husband tomorrow night. I'm going to ask
Cam.
her about
Cam. Listen, during the pandemic, we were doing our podcast. He had opened Cammie Salon to do her hair and stuff, so Cam can get it done. If we need someone to get bring him up, Cammie Salon. Yeah, he wants to forget about it.
So, I had, when she had me, it was actually Lauren Savant, if you remember Lauren, she's come on. She was my radio co-host, and Lauren brought me in, and Kat sort of shepherded the whole thing. And that was when Kat was having a lot of issues personally. The stuff she talks about on the show, she's giving you a small piece of it. It was worse.
And that's more than I need to know.
There's more than you know.
I'm a need-to-know guy.
But I got to meet Cam like date 3 or something.
Yeah.
And so I've occasionally, when she does her tour in Los Angeles, I'll go on stage with her and do the interview of her.
Right.
And we always go over this same topic. I go, Cam, what did I tell you when I first met Cam? She goes, don't f this up. How about the later in the evening? What did I say about Cam after I got to know him? Don't f this up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they have it. They're rock solid.
She didn't f it up. They got it going. They're the best. They were great.
It's just Kat and myself. We're just well grounded. We're the anchors. It says gut filled, but we know the deal. We know what it is.
Well, it's like
it should be gut filled TNT. Give us a little TNT at the bottom. It could be real small.
Professor and Marianne. They were left off for the longest time, and then finally they realized they were the key players. Yeah. Key players.
So but it's all
no.
Good.
I agree. This is a Greg and Friends thing, and he has the wisdom to put you guys there.
Yeah.
In fact, I was in the show last week, and Norton got Kat's seat, and Kat went into your seat. I was jealous. I thought, I'd love to be on that side.
Oh, the anchor.
Because that side is where it's on.
That anchor spot is, understand, by the time it gets to you, every idea has been said.
I know, I get it. So I get how he does it. I
watch how they plan, and I'm like, you can't plan. In this seat, you got to be Joker. Yeah. You got to be a dog chasing the tire. Because you might have found something that you just, a gem. They already found it. Yeah. Or it ends up in a monologue. Because sometimes they'll say something like, all right,
I don't like being first either. And so when I go in that first, I'm like, oh boy, he's going to keep going.
Well, usually the first person gets a little insult, and then
it's always an insult. Yeah. And then what do you got?
You can set a watch to him with these little insults. But Doc, funny. We've done so many shows. It's an honor. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're one of the beautiful people, and
very even kind. I consider you a friend. I'm here for you anytime. I'm always.
It's like when team. I say, because I name drop you, like, listen, if I got a problem, I'm just ask Dr. Drew.
Sure, anytime. I'm Team Tyrus.
Yeah, you are, and I'm Team Drew, and I did at least 40 of
my podcast
during the. I was like, hey, I'm with you. I even said, hey, I'm riding with you. I'm ride or die, bro.
So we were doing this thing. What he's talking about is we were doing this streaming show where we were like the French underground. Yeah. We were just like putting out this stream every day, trying to make sense of what the hell was going on in this country during lockdown.
Yep.
And trying to bring in fact, help people calm down, bring in the real deal, and just get it on.
Because you never know who your friends are until you're down.
No, that's for sure.
You'll find out real quick. And a lot of phone calls are like, oh, I would, but I just got so much going on. I think one time I was eating dinner with you on the show. I was literally getting served.
Yes. A lot of fish.
Yeah.
A lot of fish talk.
Yeah.
A lot of fish coming in.
I got some monsters now. But Doc, I know you got a million things to do, and I just love talking to you, and thank you so much for doing this, man.
Right, man.
And we're going to get that duet done. That's going to be a #1 hit.
Me and Mike Rowe.
You have to holler at Jelly Roll and remix it. Like, we got to do something.
Me and Mike Rowe singing Othello.
I think we'll break the net with that. I'll take that. You make it. I'm ready
now. Okay. Yeah. Right this second. All right, man. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.